Hi, Mrs. Sgambelluri.
Yes, well, go ahead and ask me any questions that you got to whatever you need or to hear.
Well, first, I guess your reaction on the House of Representatives almost unanimously passing the resolution by Congressman San Nicolas to name the Agana post office after your grandfather. What's your reaction to this news?
Oh, I'm so proud, and it's about time. It's about time. It has to be Congressman Michael San Nicolas to take all of that, and he did the greatest job because actually my grandfather was the first postmaster of Guam. Was it? I'm sorry.
It's okay.
Postmaster of Guam, and he deserves it.
Can you tell us what your grandfather was like and why this is significant, aside from him being the first postmaster?
My grandfather is the smartest person on this island during his time. Because why would all the governors would hire him to be their right-hand man? My grandfather was the secretary and the right-hand man to all the governors in Guam doing the Navy.
Oh, wow.
He's very smart. He is very, very smart. I only wish I had his brains.
How long do you remember how long he served as postmaster, or how long he was with the post office?
That is a question I cannot answer because I don't know. All the records have been destroyed during the bombing.
I see.
Even his hard copy of the pictures, they were all destroyed during the bombing of the.
But Mom, you remember when you were a little girl, how long you think you was doing?
I know when I was just a little girl, he was the postmaster at the post office. He goes, but I forget. It was very bad before the war.
My dad worked for the post office as well. He was never the postmaster, but he worked for the post office too.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
What's your last name?
Torres.
Torres?
Yeah.
Torres from where?
From Agana. And the former postmaster, Frank Aclavea, is my uncle.
Oh,
Yeah.
Oh, the Torres in Agana?
Yes, ma'am.
Is that Mary Torres or?
Bobby Torres' family, yeah. Familin Cotis is the name.
Bush.
Cotis, yes.
Oh my gosh. They have a house across my grandfather's house.
Oh, wow.
And my grandfather's house is across the street in San Nicolas district.
Where was that?
In Ghana.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So the Torres family has a house across my grandfather's house.
Oh, what a small island this is.
Yeah. Imagine. And you know what?
Uh-huh.
That house, the Torres family's house in Ghana,
Uh-huh.
it was abandoned when the Japanese was bombing and they left to the ranch.
Yeah.
And we didn't have nowhere to go because the Japanese kicked us out of our home in Agana in San Nicolas, my grandfather's house. The Japanese told us to get out of the house because they're going to use my grandfather's house for their residence, for the the upper Japanese. They're going to move in. And so we found an abandoned building across the street.
Uh-huh.
Your building.
Oh, wow. So wait, was your grandfather the postmaster at the time of the invasion?
Before the war.
Before the war. So was his life ever threatened by the Japanese because he was an officer of the U.S. government, right?
Yes. Oh, they hated us.
How?
They took him to the palace to punish him.
Yeah. Oh, wow.
My mom and my auntie and all of us went to the palace during the Japanese time, and we were begging the Japanese, the one that took over the palace, to please do not hurt my grandfather because he's already old and he did nothing wrong. So they let him go.
Okay. Did they physically?
Out of our house in Agana, and so we had to look for a place to stay. And next door, across the street, was your house, your family house.
Oh wow.
Mother's name?
What is your grandfather's name, or your mother, or your father?
My grandpa was Ignacio Eclavea Torres.
Oh my God.
Yeah, and his older sister is Tanana Torres Underwood.
Really? Oh my God, like we're one family.
Yeah.
I used to go to your house to get piano lessons
Oh wow. Okay.
for the Japanese time.
Did the Japanese government ever abuse your grandfather?
No,
No. Okay.
never.
So they just kicked you out of your home. What was your home still around after the war?
No, every home in Agana was destroyed by the Americans, not the Japanese. Not
Yes.
one building was not bombed by the Japanese. Every building was intact. But when the Americans started bombing, every house in Agana was destroyed by the bombing by the American planes. In fact, the American plane is the one that injured my grandfather.
When
His eye and a hole in the ear.
Wow.
Because the American planes were bombing Agana, and my grandfather was in the foxhole.
I
And
see.
so the Americans bombed the foxhole, and my grandfather and my cousin David was in the foxhole, and they had to dig themselves out.
Did the Japanese use your grandfather to do any work, like
No.
bookkeeping, anything?
No, my Japanese never used my grandfather for anything. They just let him go. You know, my grandfather has two-story building in Agana. Three.
Uh-huh.
One where he stayed, my grandfather's house is the closest to the palace.
Okay. So
And
it's
then the other one was about maybe another 20 feet, another building, two-story, been occupied by the U.S. Navy. And then the third building was the one for the post office that he built a house there.
Oh, I see. Okay.
No,
So
I'm sorry, yeah, built a house there, and the military, the Navy, took over the house for it. And the third house was, where Concord Terrace is staying now?
in Agana Heights?
That's my grandfather's house.
Oh wow. Okay.
Because of his summer house. He goes there on Sundays to read books.
When the war was over and the naval government took over, did your grandfather go back to his job as the postmaster?
No, he was injured.
Okay.
And not only that, when the Americans told that my grandfather was injured by the Americans, he was the first civilian that was taken to the States for medical treatment.
Do you know if during the war your grandfather was trying to help the Americans during the Japanese occupation?
Yes, he was underground, because we're the only ones in Agana that had radio.
Oh wow.
And he would put his ear on the radio and write down all the information. And he would take the information down, roll it up in the little paper, and call my cousin David, the station, and give Tommy Tanaka the information that he took on the radio.
Are we talking father?
This is the late Tomas Tanaka, Tomas S. Tanaka,
Yeah,
right?
because he was American. He was helping the Americans.
So your grandpa was part of the network that was helping the resistance during the Japanese occupation.
Yes, he was in there.
Was he ever rewarded by the U.S. government for his loyalty?
No, nothing.
No, except for by the House of Representatives as of yesterday.
Nothing.
But this is a very interesting story, Mrs. Sgambelluri.
Yes,
Troy, you should, my mom's brain, before, she's 91, and my mom has stage 4 cancer. So a lot of historical information she still remembers from the past.
Yeah, I'm 91 years old, Troy.
Well, we would love to interview you about the war, Mrs. Sgambelluri.
Yeah, I'm a stage 4 cancer now, and I get my cancer shots. But yesterday I was really in pain. It really affects me.
Well,
My son takes me to my shot, my cancer shot.
well, I'm going to pray for you, Mrs. Sgambelluri, that you beat this and that you're around much longer.
I hope so, but I told my children that I have 3. I predict that I only have 1 more year to live.
Oh, I hope it's much longer than that. I'm going to pray for you.
And I'm a campaigner. I campaign like hell.
Yes, ma'am.
Now, I'm going to campaign for my 100%.
Well, you know what? I'm sure he appreciates that. I'll let him know.
Yes, he said, you know what he said about Mrs. Sgambelluri, you're the powerhouse. Because when I campaign. I am a very, very good friend of President Trump.
I remember the phone call. I remember that you got things moving by calling the White House directly.
And if it wasn't for Trump, the war claim would not be signed.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Sgambelluri. Thank you.
Yes, yes. And I owe my life to President Trump.
I'm
So I
sure.
asked my mom anything about the war, even before the war.
Even before the war and after the war, just let me know. My father was in the military, in the Navy,
Okay.
and he was captured by the Japanese and was sent to Japan as a prisoner of war with all the military that was captured in Guam.
Wow.
And so then he was captured for 3.5 years. We didn't see him for 3.5 years. And when the Americans took over after the war, they shipped him to Guam with the other prisoners. And we didn't know it was my father.
Wow.
We did not know it was him. He looked like a zombie.
Wow.
Oh my God, we ran away. Then my mother said, come and kiss your dad. He's home. We all ran away.
Oh.
Because we thought they were looking at a skeleton.
And when did your dad pass away?
Oh, my dad passed away in the 50s.
In the 50s.
Something like that. I have to take my papers off because I forget.
So not very long after he returned from the war.
Yeah. He went back to work at the Navy because he's a Navy man. He's a promises made first class.
Okay.
Yeah. And he's a mortician. He's the only mortician in Guam at that time. Yeah.
Oh, this is very interesting, Mrs. Sgambelluri. May we call you back to interview you more about the war and the pre-war? Maybe sometime next week.
Let me know in advance because
Okay.
this is be a good time. In the evening, 7 o'clock up
Okay.
to 10 o'clock, 12 o'clock, you can still. I'm not sleeping at that time.
Okay. All right, Mrs.
We're
Sgambelluri.
watching Fox News.
Don't try that your dad kept the journal in the prison.
Oh, you know, my dad has a journal when he was in the prison camp.
Yeah.
And every prisoner of war and address is in his book.
Do you have that book?
I donated it to the Guam Museum.
Oh, okay. I'll ask them.
Yeah,
Thank
and you go to the Guam Museum because they didn't do nothing. That shit.
I'll call them. Thank you, Mrs. Sgambelluri.
I donated it to the museum because that could be preserved. You know?
Yeah, that's
My house down
history.
here is typhoon coming and the house is blown away. Then the book
Yeah.
is gone. But my dad, every prisoner of war in the camp between the Japanese time.
That's how you're related to the Perez family, the Torres.
They call the Perez family is related to my grandfather because of the Taitano.
Yes.
Like
Yeah.
Robert Underwood.
Yes.
He's my cousin from the Taitano.
Okay. Yes.
And you know that if you're a Taitano,
Mm-hmm.
You are smart.
Yes.
My brother is a very, very intelligent person, my brother, because he is a Taitano.
I see.
He just died a few months later, but more, in Las Vegas.
I'm
But
so
if
sorry.
you're a Taitano, you're smart. As my God.
And tell her you never got COVID.
I never caught COVID. All my family, my grandchildren, all caught the COVID.
Uh-huh.
This old lady, 91-year-old lady. Yeah, everybody saw us hospitalized for 2 weeks, and here I am. And you know what? I like to tell you a short story. My granddaughter wanted to get married in the Philippines because she wants to be a big wedding and go to the peninsula.
Uh-huh.
And her husband to be is Adam Perez, an immigration officer.
Uh-huh.
Her father is attorney, big parents. So after the wedding, everybody was on the plane coming back home.
Uh-huh.
All the guests and the family. We occupied the whole seats on the plane coming back home. Guess what? Every person in the plane, except the pilot,
Got COVID?
had COVID except me. Me?
Well, your God is watching you, that's why.
I don't know. I'm not a good Catholic.
God,
I don't want to go to church. I go to church, but I go to church while watching Channel 3 on TV.
you know,
You know, I just stay in my room and turn on the TV Channel 3. Well, anytime you want me, just give me a call.
okay.
Or you can call my son. You have my son's name, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So he's living with me.
Okay.
Living with me.
Okay, Mrs. Sgambelluri, thank you so much. Well, we will call you.
Yes, yes. So thank you too. Thank you
you.
ever so much. And if your family stories,
Yes, ma'am.
is there the one that has the oyster beach down at the one?
Say it again.
The Torres family has the beach down at Tumon?
Isn't that the estate of Jose Martinez Torres?
Yeah,
Oh no,
yeah.
or is it the
The family owns that property.
or is it the Gun Beach?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know that my family in particular had any claim. My grandpa's parents died when they were very young. I think from like tuberculosis or something like that. Back in the 1910s, they died.
Influenza.
Maybe, but yeah, they died very young.
Yeah, my grandfather's children died because of the influenza.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah. So, okay, just give me a call, and it's better maybe at night time if you're free, you could call me.
Okay, Mrs. Sgambelluri, thank you.
And thank you if you need any other information. Just, you got my cell number?
No, I only have your home phone number. Yes.
Okay, 483
Okay.
1931, the year I was born.
1921? 31, 1931. Okay. 483?
483 1931,
Okay, got it.
the year I was born.
Oh, got it. Thank you, Mrs. Sgambelluri.
And I'm still breathing.
Yes,
I'm
ma'am.
sick.
You keep breathing.
I'm still breathing. I gotta go to this cancer stuff.
Okay.
Okay, so thank you ever so much, sir,
Thank
for
you.
calling me.
Thank you.
I'm gonna, you know what? Oh,
Yeah.
you know what I'm gonna do?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm ready for K57 to open.
Uh-huh.
I'm gonna call again. Shame on the Guam Water Works for that guy to get $141,000
Yeah.
a $10,000 raise from $131,000, and the people that are suffering now, not even $10. Shame on Guam Water Works.
I agree, Mrs. Sgambelluri. Shame on them. Shame on them.
Call K57 this afternoon.
I hope you do, because that's your right. Shame on them.
Shame on them. Shame on them.
Yep. I agree.
Just wait.
I agree.
You will hear me on K57 this afternoon.
I'll be listening then.
I'm going to tell them off.
I'll be listening then.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Sgambelluri.
Okay,
Bye.
good night. Have a good morning.
Good morning.